For many people, being a helldiver is a convenient way to serve liberty and democracy. I mean, the idea of jumping into battle to fight liberty's enemies is one of the highest callings as any. However, for those of us that actually survive basic training and countless missions after that, it is a sacrifice. We aren't just ordinary civilians like the Super Earth Armed Forces who get to go home after a day's work. We are constantly on the front lines, giving everything we've got to eliminate our enemies. As such, I've had the fortune to fight alongside many good men and women, and I've had the misfortune of letting myself get close to many of them. Almost every day, I cycle through an entirely new batch of fresh recruits. I don't even bother trying to get to know them because I know they will all be dead in the week. Some people, however, have surprised me, and they survived enough missions to eventually become captains of their own ships. But there is one in particular that completely exceeded my expectations. His name is Theodore, but those of us that know him call him Theo. Right now, Theo is gathering automaton scraps to fix the DSS space station, as well as defending a satellite in Fort Union, which is close to Terminid territory. This satellite is supposed to transmit a malware to the Illuminate fleet and give us the winning edge. There is so much I can say about him. When I first met him, I thought to myself, this puny bastard is going to be the first one dead. I know this for certain. In fact, I was so disappointed in him that I humiliated him in front of everyone and threatened to send him back to Super Earth in a body bag. And what did he do in response? Well, that's the part that earned him a spot on my ship. Instead of forming a rebuttal, he tilted his head back and bolted it forward, clonking me right on my own noggin, and it hurt like a bitch. Theo may have been weaker than many of the female helldivers I've worked with, but he had balls the size of watermelons. I've broken arms and legs for a lot less. Yet here he was, ready to die on his feet. That was potential incarnate. And although he served in many missions, there was one mission that changed him forever. An evacuation order in the creek. Those veterans out there, you know what creek I'm talking about. When Theo and I were in the creek, we had just lost control of the planet. All ships had to pull out after evacuating as many civilians as possible. Theo stayed behind with some other brave helldivers to slow the automatons down, giving the civilians time to escape. He unfortunately did not make it back to the Pelican in time. The other captains and admirals thought everyone there had perished under the might of the automatons, and they all did, except Theo. He remained in the creek, and he learned to survive, to fight, to win. When we were able to return and take back the creek, we came across Theo moving inside an outpost, destroying the fabricators and leaving before the bots could even figure out what happened. One of our eggheads had intercepted the automatons' communication channels. They were scared of Theo. They even gave him their own nickname, the Mantis. An appropriate nickname, I'll say. At the time, Theo sported a functional jump pack, which he must have mastered using. In future missions, his comrades would say how he'd hop into the enemy base and leave the base completely in ruins. It also helped that Theo had scavenged state-of-the-art scout armor, which made detecting him more difficult. He had always told me how he felt like a social outcast because people would not notice him. However, this also means that enemies don't notice him either. And I think that's a trade-off I'd want for myself. Theo entered the creek as a boy, and he emerged out of the embers of automaton corpses as a man. I am proud to know someone like him. He's not just a good helldiver, but he's a good man, a much better man than me. And when I die, I choose him to lead my ship along with all the noble men and women aboard that serve humanity. We are so close to the finish line. I'm hurting like a bitch right now, but I'm not quitting. The Illuminates are almost out of options. One final effort is all that remains.